Let's set up a document with 8 artboards. Go to File, New, change the number of artboards to 8. We're going to make sure that our units are pixels, so if yours are something other than pixels, make sure you select pixels from this Units drop-down menu. Also, you're going to type in the width and height at 1,000 pixels. So mine are already set at 1,000 pixels, but if yours are not, you would just highlight the number that's in there and type in 1,000. Hit OK. Now we have 8 square artboards. We have 8 images that we want to place in our document, and we want to place each image on a different artboard. So let's start with artboard number 1. And actually we can tell what number our artboard is by going to this artboard tool. And when we hold down the artboard tool, we can see that each artboard has its own number. But let's get out of the artboard tool for now by going back to the selection tool. And let's make sure that we're selected on this first artboard. So we know we have an artboard selected when there's a thin black outline around it. So if I click on artboard number 2, you can see that this black outline appears. It's important that we click on the artboard that we want to select and place our art. So now that I'm selected on artboard number 1, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to choose Place, and I have 8 images inside of a folder. So I will choose the first image in the list and make sure that link is unchecked, as it should be by default, and choose Place. Now that we have this little preview of that image attached to our cursor, we can go to one side of our artboard, click and drag across to the other side, and let go of the mouse button. Our artwork will come in and it will span the width of our artboard. Now, one thing I should mention is that it might be helpful if you have Smart Guides turned on for this. So under the View menu, just make sure Smart Guides is checked. That will help to snap that image to the edges of your artboard. Now what we want to do next is to size our artboard to fit the image. So even though we have the width correct, the artboard is still too tall. So making sure that the artwork is selected and the artboard selected underneath it, we'll go to the Object menu, scroll down to Artboards and choose Fit to Selected Art. And now the artboard fits to the image that's sitting on top of it. So let's do image number 2. We'll place that on artboard number 2. So we need to click on artboard number 2 to select it. Then we go back to File, Place, choose the second image in our list. Do the same thing we did before. Click and drag from one side of the artboard to the other and let go of our mouse button. And now again, making sure that our image is still selected and the artboard underneath it is selected, we're going to go to Object and Artboards, choose Fit to Selected. And this is what we're going to do for the other 6 artboards. So I'm going to go ahead and just place all of my images onto the artboards, and then I'll be back. So now that we have our artboards all set up with our images, we can, if we would like to, and it's easier for us to work with, we can move these artboards around and arrange them in a way that's a little bit easier to work with. So if I go back to this artboard tool and I select the first artboard, maybe I want to leave this first artboard where it is, but maybe I want to move these artboards slightly more apart just to give myself a little extra room on the pasteboard. Maybe I want to move these closer together just so that I don't have to scroll as much to go from one artboard to the next. So basically you're just selecting the artboard that you want to move, and as long as your image is fully on the artboard, the image should move along with it. So what we're going to do is use this layer, layer 1, which is the default layer that comes into your document when you create a new one. We're going to use that as a reference layer with our reference images. So we should rename our layer 1. Let's rename that reference images. And we might want to, since we're going to be tracing over this artwork, we might want to double click on this blank area of the layer to bring up the layer options, and we might want to choose dim images. And by default, dim images is set to 50%, but we could change it to whatever we want. If I hit OK, it's going to actually make these images a little bit lighter so that if we're drawing over them with a black path, let's say, we're able to see our own artwork. I might even choose to make this a bit lighter. But you can change the percentage to make it 100% to 0%. Every time you double click on the blank area outside of the name in your layers window, you're able to modify the options under layer options. Okay, so we have our reference images set up. I'm going to lock this layer so that we don't accidentally select it or draw on it, and then we're going to make 8 new layers. So I'm just going to click the Make Layer button 8 times. Now that we have 8 new layers, we can see that they're named layer 2 through 9 because layer 1 was renamed reference images. So a quick way to rename these layer 1 through 8 would be to take layer 9 and drag it down so that it sits right between. You can see that there's a blue bar between layer 2 and reference images, and if I let go of my mouse button, layer 9 will come in at the bottom, and we can just rename layer 9 layer 1, and now we have layers 1 through 8. So it's important to make sure that you're tracing over the reference images on the correct layer. So if this is Artboard 1, then we're going to draw on layer 1. And we want to make sure that we're selected on layer 1 in order to make sure that that layer is active, and in order not to accidentally draw or select any other of these layers, we should lock all of these layers. So basically what we're doing is we're locking every layer that we don't currently have active. Now once we're finished drawing on layer 1, we're going to move to Artboard 2, and then you'll lock layer 1 and unlock layer 2, select layer 2, and then start drawing on layer 2. Going to layer 3 when you're finished with drawing on layer 2, do the same thing, lock layer 2, select layer 3, unlock layer 3, and start drawing on that. And that's how you'll proceed for the entire assignment until you have a drawing of each one of these reference images on the correct layer corresponding with the same numbered artboard.